Alright, y'all, so in this video I want to discuss how to become more disciplined in trading, because I can only speak from experience here, but the biggest setback that I have had in my trading career is the inability to stay disciplined enough to trade in the way that I know I should trade. And I'm going to say something that may offend certain people, but if you are struggling with your trading, I would reckon to wager that you know exactly why you are not profitable as a trader. You know why. You can go back in hindsight and reverse engineer the decisions you made and understand completely why you have been losing money. And I can almost guarantee that it comes down to one thing, which is a lack of discipline. And this is something that I struggled with greatly. And I want to talk about how we can become more disciplined as traders, because in theory, trading is very simple, right? We're looking for high probability trade setups that we've back tested. We know the win rate is high. We're using good risk management so that even if we're taking losses, we can still stay in the game and be profitable over time. And we're sticking to a strategy, right? The three pillars of trading are strategy, risk management, and that third pillar is the patience and the discipline, and that is what wrecks us all. Even to this day, I would say that most of my losses come from a lack of discipline. If I'm going to take a big loss, it's actually been a while. I can honestly say it's been a while since I took a big loss because I lacked discipline. Because it is something that I have so drilled into my mind. It's a mindset. It's something that you have to make second nature, and I'm going to go into some ways to do that, okay? So first of all, when it comes to trading, right, I have found that trading will show you how much you suck at being disciplined in general. My generation as a millennial, we have grown up with instant gratification in every aspect of life. I think back to my career as a Little League baseball player. I did not hit the ball a single time. I was the worst Little League baseball player that you could possibly imagine. Okay? The only time I made it to first base was when I got hit with the ball. Even still, I got a trophy at the end of the year just for being on the team. My team did not go to championships. We didn't make it to the playoffs, but we got a trophy, okay? When we were kids, right, when we were hungry, did we have to work for our food? No. What do? We open the fridge, we pop something in the microwave, we're good to go. We are trained for instant gratification. Social media has done horrible things to our brains, where we can wake up and in our bed go onto Instagram and be bombarded with little dopamine hits as we scroll through endless stimulation. Okay? Now, enter trading, and you have been trained for these constant dopamine hits, rewards for doing nothing, and it's a recipe for disaster. Now, something else that really messed with me is I learn by doing. Okay? I don't learn by reading the instruction manual. If I'm going to put something together, I don't look at the instruction manual, right? I have to go through a lot of turmoil and frustration before I look at that thing, right? No, I'm going to look at the parts, I'm going to look at the screws and the nuts and the tools, and I'm going to put it together without looking at the instructions, okay? Because I felt like I didn't have time. Okay, so all these things made trading very difficult for me as a beginner. And it took me a long time to learn how to almost hack my own psychology and become more disciplined. One of the things that I have found has really helped me, and I am not here to say that I'm perfect at this, guys. I'm just here to say what has helped me, right? Preaching to myself. But practicing discipline in other areas of life has really helped me become a better trader. Okay? I would say the two most important areas that you can practice discipline in that will carry over to your trading are going to be spiritual and physical. Spiritual and physical. Now, I know that not everybody is religious. That's fine. And I know that everybody has different religious ideas. That's also fine. Now, for me, I am a believer in Jesus, in Yeshua, the Messiah. And so for me, spiritual discipline is prayer. Prayer and study of the scriptures, which is a discipline. And other religions, other walks of spirituality will tell you the same thing. Meditation, for example, although I do not condone meditation, I think it can be detrimental for various reasons. I'm talking about like Eastern meditation. These things take discipline, right? And if we can discipline ourselves spiritually, then that will carry over into our trading. And the reason why this is so important is because prayer will orient our vision, our focus for the day, to understand that there is something that transcends us. There is a power that transcends our power, that we are not fully in control of the things that will transpire throughout the day. And if you can start off your morning by recognizing that fact, by being thankful for the things that God has given you, and really focusing on the major things instead of the smaller things like trading or making money, it will help you in your trading. Now, physical. This is also something that I feel there's a lot of carryover between physical discipline and trading, okay? Now, I'm not telling you that this is going to work for everybody, but this is just something that's worked for me, right? I love to push myself in the gym to do things that are very uncomfortable, right? This is a video of me squatting 225 pounds for 50 reps, okay? Now, let me tell you, I know everyone's at different levels of strength and conditioning, okay? But for me, this was very, very difficult mentally. No doubt, my body could do it, okay? But when you get to the place where you feel like you cannot do any more, that is all in your head. It's all mental. It's all discipline, right? You can do more. You can. Your body will do more. And if you get into the habit of pushing yourself to be uncomfortable, to work hard for those dopamine hits, this will carry over into trading. Okay? Now, something else that I think helps in life is setting goals and journaling. Okay? Setting goals and journaling. A lot of times people come into trading and they don't have any goals, period. They don't have any goals for what they want to become as a trader, how they want to trade, what type of trader they want to be. And so what they do is they go from strategy to strategy. They try out one thing, it doesn't work. They try out another thing, it doesn't work. I think these two are they go hand in hand. Okay, what you need to do is you need to have a strategy and you need to set a goal, which is I am going to try this trading strategy out. I'm going to back test it for 50 trades. I'm going to forward test it for 50 trades. Maybe use a small amount of money. And then take a journal. It doesn't even have to be a real journal. It could be a mental note. It could just be something very simple. How did that strategy play out for you? And what this will do is this will now give you a clearly defined goal, a clearly defined vision, right? And then it will allow you to now have physical notation of how that strategy actually worked. So in the future, you have very clearly defined goals of what you are looking for in a trade, okay? Now, this goes into the second, I would say, point here, which is have a set of rules for your own trading. Everyone will tell you this. Take any trading class, any trading course. I've taken probably 11 trading courses in my day. And they will always say you have to have rules for yourself, right? Now, for me, this extends over into having a plan for my trades, right? Every single day in my VIP Discord, I come up with plans for my trades. This is basically my trading journal here, but I share it with people, right? I come up with plans for trades in advance according to specific rules that I have. I'm looking for a specific level. I'm looking for specific confirmations on my indicators, right? And when I get those confirmations, I enter the trade. This in and of itself, okay, having a set of rules, having trades that you plan for, having certain indications, right? Sticking to your confirmations, right? These squats, guys, these were brutal. I'm telling you, man. They were absolutely brutal toward the end there. Sticking to your confirmations, sticking to your plan trades. These, I mean, I can't guarantee anything here, right? But most of the time, when I was starting out to trade, I would have plans. Let's say that I had a plan to take a short from, just for an example, let's say I had a plan to short from here, right? From this level right up here. Well, all of a sudden, I see price is starting to move down. And so now what do? I FOMO into a short right here. Price comes down a little bit and then stops me out, right? But then my plan actually plays out the way I wanted to, but I just took a loss here. And maybe now because I took the loss, I'm like, well, I'm not going to short again because I already took a loss, right? Or the opposite could be true, right? Let's say that we were waiting for this level to take a long, right? But we saw price pumping up here and we're like, okay, I'm going to FOMO long right here. Boom, we get stopped out. And price dumps more. And then we get timid, right? We're like, oh, no, I'm not going to long now. But then we could have longed and price could have went in our direction if we had only stuck to our plans, okay? We have to set our rules in trading and we have to stick to our rules, okay? Don't chase price. Chasing price is a one-way ticket to Wreck City. If you are shorting because price is dumping, that is a one-way ticket to Wreck City. You have to have an entry. You have to have a premeditated strategy that is going to get you into that trade. If price is pumping, do not long because price is pumping. When we are looking at the charts, it's always so easy in hindsight to say, oh, price started to pump and I could have longed here and made a little profit, right? But we don't see, our eye is not drawn to those times where price started to pump and we could have longed here and got wrecked. Or price started to pump and we could have longed here and got wrecked, right? Or price started to pump and we long here and get wrecked. Our eyes are always drawn to those good moves, right? That's how like Hike and Ashi candles mess with us, right? I'm not saying it's bad to use Hike and Ashi, but when you see these like buy sell indicators where people make it so easy, oh yeah, just sell when the candle turns red, buy when the candle turns green, right? So easy, right? It's deceiving to the eye because it's not that easy, right? And even if you just short and long when the candles change color, I guarantee you will get sliced the heck up on fees and you will get wrecked and you are not going to do very well. You know, you have to have a premeditated plan in advance before you start entering into positions. So you have to make a covenant with yourself. And there's other rules you could have. Some people might have a rule, don't trade on mobile. Some people might have a rule, don't trade in bed. Some people might have a rule, don't trade unless I'm at my trading desk fully engaged. Okay? And these are personal things. But what you have to do is you have to come up with your set of rules and you have to make a covenant with yourself and say, self, I am going to stick to my rules. I'm going to stick to my strategy. And if you get the urge to not, I want you to shut your computer. I want you to walk away because it is better to potentially miss profit that you FOMO'd into and didn't stick to your rules. It's better to miss that profit than to start to build the habit of trading contrary to your rules and strategy. Because in the long game, that will wreck you. In the short game, you might make a ton of money doing that. In the long game, you will lose every penny that you have doing that. Every single penny. These markets will humble you. They will take everything you have. Seriously. You have to approach these markets very strategically, very intentionally, understanding that this is not a game, this is not gambling. This is a skill, this is a discipline, just like anything else in life that you are trying to get good at. All right? So again, this kind of ties in with the third point, which is stay focused on the long game, right? Slow and steady gains wins the race. Okay, slow and steady gains wins the race. I get so many comments from people who are almost like scoffing at my position sizes, wondering, Jason, how come you're up so much in profit right now on this long? Why not just take that profit out? Or why don't you trade with more money, this and that? Guys, the reason is because it's about the slow and steady gains over time, right? The slow and steady gains over time. Just because I'm super, super, super confident in a specific trade setup doesn't mean I'm going to risk more on that trade than I should, right? If anything, I either risk a certain amount. For me, I have a max amount of money that I am willing to risk on a trade. Okay, it's between 1 and 3% in general of my total trading capital. I will oftentimes enter trades with much less, risking much less than 3% of my capital, right? If anything, we should have a cap of how much we're willing to risk, and then we can risk less than that depending on the trade setup, depending on the context of the market, depending on the risk-reward ratio and stuff like that, right? But this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, okay? This is a skill for slowly growing an account over time. And once we get to a certain point where we have a certain amount of trading capital, then the gains can be substantial enough where it can actually impact our life in a positive financial way. But here's the thing, just because we have a lot of capital to trade with doesn't now mean we can get careless and use larger position percentages on our trades. No. If anything, we have to be more disciplined when we have more money. Because the thing is, there is always that temptation to put more on a trade than you should for the allure of a quick gain. But instead of focusing on the gains, we need to focus on the process of trading. We need to focus on the technical analysis, right? By the way, if you want to join the group where we give the trade setups in advance, right? I mean, we longed 18,141. I got it in 18,281. Because we had a long idea from last Monday's stream to long the CDW at 18,141, right? Well, it's not a signals group, but it's a technical analysis group. You can go to patreon.com/Jason Casper. And if you want to learn how to do analysis, how to trade, you can check out the course, jasoncaspertrading.com. There's a 25% discount in the description if you're interested. But we have to focus on the process of trading, the process of doing the analysis, the process of having a plan, and the process of sticking to our plan. If you do that, the money will come. The gains will come. But they will only come if you stop focusing on the money, if you stop focusing on the short game, and you start focusing on the process and learn to enjoy the process. And I can say from personal experience that it took a while to get here, and there are various ways to get here, but that goes beyond the scope of this video. But when you can trade without caring about the money, you will do way better than somebody who comes here looking to make money. I get messages from people all the time. They're like, Jason, I have $150,000. I'm going to quit my job next month. Do you think I can make X amount of money per week trading with this much money? When you are giving yourself time and monetary parameters and or quotas that have to be met, aka I have to make $4,000 a week, I have to make X amount of money in X amount of time, you are setting yourself up for failure guaranteed, because you are going to be so much more tempted to not stick to your strategy if you know that you have to make a certain amount of money by a certain amount of time. You'll be taking trades you shouldn't be taking with bad risk to reward ratios. You might be tempted to revenge trade if you take a loss. Now you're set back. You're like, that's it, I'm doubling down now. going to risk even more than initially to try and make back that loss plus some. You're setting yourself up for disaster. Okay? Do not put yourself in that situation unless you are a very experienced trader and you have these things down. If you're newer to trading and you're thinking about doing this full time, I would highly recommend that you have some other kind of income besides trading. Because as soon as you put that pressure on yourself, you are going to have a whole new can of psychological worms opened up that are going to steal your gains. All right? Don't focus on the dollar amount. Focus on the process. Focus on the analysis. You know, I have to be honest with you guys. I don't even focus on the amount of money I make per trade. I don't. It's cool to make it. I'm not going to lie. But if you focus on that dollar amount, it is going to cause you to do bad things, right? Focus on sticking to the process, finding the entries, entering the trade, locking in profits, being satisfied with small gains that add up over time, being satisfied with a take profit 1, stop loss to the entry, close the trade at break even, right? Because if we're chasing the money, I'm telling you guys, that is a slippery slope to Wreck City, right? And so these are just some things, guys, that have helped me. So I want to come in and make this video. Perhaps these things can help you as well. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. God bless everybody in the name of Jesus the Messiah. And I will see everybody in the next video. Peace.